The Andy Pollin Show on ESPN 630, the sports capital.
Graham is coming up at 11 o'clock. Over the weekend that the D.C. Defenders won the UFL championship, beating Michigan, and they won it with Coach Shannon Harris, who until 6 days before the start of the season was not the coach of the team. Reggie Barlow, who had been the coach when they went to the championship game a couple of years ago, went to Tennessee State, which is actually the alma mater of Shannon Harris. And what do you know? Shannon Harris gets the job. He has to find new assistants. Greg Williams, who's the defensive coordinator, he's going to go with Reggie Barlow where he goes. And so I would ask you, Shannon, were you a Boy Scout? Were you at every time a Boy Scout during your life?
No, not necessarily a Boy Scout, but, growing up, I had great people in my life to always teach me, how to surround myself with good people. So that's kind of, for me, I just understood that from a standpoint. And, playing quarterback, in order for you to be successful as a quarterback, you got to have good people around you as well. So all those traits from that, come from everything from a coaching standpoint for me.
I ask you if you're a Boy Scout because, the motto is always be prepared. So when you're hit 6 days before the season starts, you're going to be the head coach and you got to find yourself a new defensive coordinator and move around some other assistants. I mean, what was your reaction at the time?
Yeah, to that point, you're right. Let me say this too. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
And first off, and then, being a Boy Scout, you're right. Definitely have those things, those traits. But
yeah,
I tell you, playing quarterback, that's always taught me that too. Always be prepared for any situation that may happen in a game, right? So you got to always be able to adjust in life, and of course on the football field and anything else you may do. So all those traits for me come out, and I tell you, playing quarterback helps me with that. Even in coaching, to be prepared at all times. And when that moment came, the last 5 years of my career has always been preparing to be a head coach, And so, and Coach Barlow had known that, he and I have been working together before he's seen my growth throughout my coaching career, and especially being underneath him as far as from one of his assistants. So he's seen that. He saw it develop in me. He's seen the way I've learned from other guys as well, and going to meet with other NFL coaches and other people that have been mentors of mine. So that was where the trust come from, as far as having input as me being the head coach when he left.
Mm-hmm. And this, it's been reported that you are the first former HBCU player to win a championship in professional football as a coach, and I want to explore that a little bit more. But I'm a big fan of sports history, so I did some research on this. Interim coaches who have won championships, probably the most famous would be Steve Fisher, who in 1989 was an assistant under Bill Frieder, who announced before the end of the season that he was going to Arizona State. And Bo Schembechler, the athletic director, famously said, "I want a Michigan man coaching my team." And,
that's right.
and Steve Fisher won the championship. It also has happened in the NBA. You may be too young to remember this, but Magic Johnson's first coach was actually Jack McKinney, who was hurt in a bicycle accident early in the season. Paul Westhead took over. They won the championship. 2 years later, Magic had enough of Westhead. He said it was either him or me. So obviously Westhead went. Pat Riley took over as an interim coach, and they won the championship. I've also got, maybe you remember this, remember Jack McKeon, Trader Jack McKeon?
Yep.
Okay, so this was 2003. Jeff Torborg got fired 38 games into the season. Jack McKeon won the World Series, beating the Yankees. Do you know, though, the last interim football coach to win a championship?
Oh, oof. You got me on that one. I wouldn't know.
Well, here, now you can tell your friends that you're in this company. And I had to look this up because this is even before my time. There was a coach of the Houston Oilers named Lou Rimkus, and the Oilers in the first year of the AFL won the championship. In 1961, they started off 1-3-1. Rimkus got fired. Wally Lem took over, and the Oilers repeated as champions. So
wow.
Unless you can find another one, I think it's you and Wally Lem. I think that's it.
How about that, right?
Yeah. Here's another close one. George Allen, who coached here went to coach the Rams in 1978, and halfway through training camp, the players had a mutiny. He got fired. Ray Malavasi took over. The second year, Malavasi took them to the Super Bowl where they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's all I got on that. So, when you want to impress your friends at cocktail parties, you can pass along all that information if you'd like.
No, that is great information. And, I didn't know the entire dynamics of it all.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's a blessing to be a part of that for sure.
What did you find when you're talking to your players and you're going, yeah, I know we did all this work under Coach Barlow, but he and Greg Williams are gone. And did you make any changes, or were you hesitant to make changes because it was so late in the game?
No, wasn't hesitant to make any changes at all. But, pretty much everything stayed the same for the most part. But, of course, you always want to try to put your own little spin on things, you know what I mean, for what you have prepared for. So nothing, not a wholesale change of things, some meetings here, how we, practice a little different throughout the course of the season and things like that, knowing that, we're going to have to make sure our guys are fresh down the end of our schedule going into the run. So just a few tweakage on a few things, nothing really majorly changed. For the most part, and just kind of added my own little spin on something. But outside of that, man, it was just status quo. The culture had been set, and we had to bring on a couple of new coaches because some guys left. But for the most part, the players was all bought into it, and they trusted me, and the coaches trusted what I was implementing, my little tweak. So. Everybody was bought in and was ready to go out and win a championship.
All right, two other things, and we're talking to Shannon Harris, the coach of the UFL champion DC Defenders, who beat Michigan last weekend. Dan Quinn played Division III football at what did he play out on the Eastern Shore? Okay, so and he has made it to become a head coach in the NFL. In fact, this is his second shot as a head coach. You coming from an HBCU. Have you found that there's like a ceiling that you're hitting your head on because people look at where you played, and has that been difficult for you to overcome?
No, and that's a good point. There's a lot of great coaches who have come from small schools and who have had a lot of success, and not just in football, but in all major sports, right? So the one thing about it is, as long as you're willing to continue to learn and grow, that ceiling is not high enough for you, So I don't think I haven't put no lid on my ceiling for sure, and I think there's gonna be more to come. And but yeah, as long as you're willing to learn, develop, and get around good people, and they continue to show you the way, and you put yourself in position to get around those type people. That ceiling is not high enough for you to grow, and so that's my mindset, and that's how I look at it, and how I plan on continuing my career and see where it takes me.
Yeah, and Salisbury State, by the way, is the school Dan Quinn went to. Not to short
right.
them. Last thing, and this is just anecdotal on my part, but it seems that when the league started, they had two things in mind. One, certainly to establish off-season football, television product, the whole thing, but also to be something of a developmental league, even though there's really no affiliation with the NFL. Right. But it just seems to me, with the way things have gone in college with the NIL and players staying longer, that the position that seems to be developed by the UFL is kicker. There have been a number of kickers that have made the jump. Have there been other players? It doesn't seem like there have been players from other positions who have made that jump. Am I right about that or wrong?
No, I tell you, there's players from every position in our league that has made that jump. And, I mean, with us in year one in 2023, we still have, I think two or three guys still on teams right now who's still on the contracts from 23 year season that we had. And every year from every team, you have guys that go back into the NFL. And these guys are already, once they get from playing from us, they go into NFL camp, and they are already game ready. They're already contact ready. They're already, mentally ready. So these guys are, the NFL teams are benefiting from our players of going back into the NFL. So, and just last year, we had 3 other guys that's still on NFL teams from last season on our with our DC team and having success on NFL rosters now as well. So I know for a fact we'll probably have at least 7 or 8 guys in somewhere in camp this summer, and I'm sure 3 or 4 will stick and sign contracts again.
Okay. Well, that's good for them, and I guess that's sort of a carrot for them as well. You want to win, but you also want to put something on tape for NFL teams to take a look at you. So probably works both ways. Congratulations once again on winning, and when you finish up with me, Google Wally Lem, and you'll see where you stand.
Make sure I do that. Wally Lem.
Wally Lem, won with the Houston Oilers, 1961. Nice talking to you. Congratulations once again.
Thanks a lot. Likewise.
That's Shannon Harris, who is the coach of the D.C. Defenders, who, look, the league TV ratings are down a little bit, according to the people who run the league. That's not an issue for them. I guess there's enough there that they can keep going. The other thing that has hurt the Defenders a little bit, even though they're champions, is that the Commanders are good. Because in the early days of the team, fans used to like to show up and say, F Dan Snyder. Well, doesn't mean anything now, and now they are the champions, and it's quite a story. Guy finds out 6 days before the season starts that he is now the head coach, and he's losing his defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, who's not only a really good defensive coordinator in the NFL, he was the head coach. He was the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. So certainly Shannon Harris has proved himself, and if there's a move up either to college football or maybe it's on somebody's staff in the NFL, he has proved that, like a Boy Scout, he's always prepared. So we thank the Harrises today. We thank Shannon Harris for coming on, and we thank Isaac Kuhn Harris for running the show. And to all of you who listen, I'm going to take a few days off. I will see you back here on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m.